music has for us. Hello, hello. How are you doing, Elisa?
Hi, Carla. How are you doing? Good evening.
Good evening. Good, good. Thank you. And you? How is everything?
Well, here enjoying spring in the middle of February.
I know, right? It's like so bizarre this year. But you know what? We can't complain. We always complain about the cold, and then when it's not cold, then let's just enjoy it for this year.
Yes, and thank you everybody for joining. We're going to be reviewing the real estate market update now,
Yes, yes.
comparing
So
January 2024 to January 2023. And
yeah,
right, and earlier, every month before this one, we used to review only Toronto, and I decided for the first time include the GTA, so we have a broader scope of what we're doing. But for you who have started following the real estate market, either because you want to sell and upgrade your home or enter as a first-time home buyers, you might have noticed we had a positive start for 2024. So home sales were up in January 2024 when we compare it to January 2023. And this annual increase came as home buyers started to benefit from lower borrowing costs associated with fixed rate mortgage products, and the resulting tighter market conditions when compared to the same period a year earlier potentially points towards a renewed price growth as we move into the spring market. So just to elaborate that, Carla helped me to put a slide for you. Those who are looking through Instagram, you cannot access them, but please know that these programs are recorded immediately after we finish them in all our platforms. So you can access our YouTube channel and share it with anyone who you think may benefit from this information. We are also live on Facebook and LinkedIn. Beyond, the Instagram where you are watching and you cannot access the slides. So, oh, rephrasing it again, when I mean that we're going to enter a tighter market, I am referring to the balanced and sellers market we have been going through, where some niches will be leaving soon the balanced market and entering into a more strict seller market, which creates more stress to the buyer, of course. However, with the proper strategy and depending where do you want to buy, a detailed market analysis will give us the right strategy in that specific niche or in that specific community. So what we can see here is that there were 4,223 sales reported through the Toronto Regional Real Estate Board MLS system in January 2024, which is a substantial increase compared to January 2023, where the sales were a little bit more than 1,000 less, so around 3,000. We're going to access now a graph where we're going to be talking about that. So stronger sale growth suggests that buyers experienced a more competition, tighter market conditions compared to a year ago. So now if we access the very first graph, I have some numbers here and I would like to talk exactly what this graph means. I chose it from all the way from January 2022 to January 2024. So you can see exactly the crazy dynamic we have been having these last 2 years in our market in the GTA and Toronto, due to the changes in Bank of Canada rates and also the inflation and everything that has been happening in our dynamic. So you can see here, as I mentioned, the last line, the last dot over there is January this year, 2024, at 4,222 sales. If we take
wow.
that to January 2023, we sold 3,090 homes. So it's a slight improvement from January previous year. But if we compare that to the February from 2022, we sold then 9,000 homes, double. And following that
Wow.
month, March, 10,000, almost 11,000. The competition back then was brutal. Prices were going really, really high. And so the Bank of Canada decided, even before the inflation, to do something about it. So we do not go into any bubble, any real estate bubble, and try to cool off the market artificially. And it happened. It started
Wow.
happening. And that was the very first drop you can see after March 2022. But then we had all these other mixes into the arena, and we have been going in a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. Again, we went really high on June 2023 during that summer, and again we went down, and again we're going up now. So that's why we think it's going to be very positive now, because we see that January started straight up, and traditionally spring markets are always bloom. So we're expecting that to keep increasing, right? And especially if the Bank of Canada doesn't give us another surprise. I know we have not very good news with regards to inflation. However, I am really, really curious to see what they decide to do. What is on March 6th? Carla, is when is the next one?
March 6th. Yeah.
Yeah.
So today there was a release from the government of the United States. Their inflation was a little bit not what they were expecting. It went from 3.4 to 3.1, but they were expecting more like 2.9 type of thing. So that really got the bond market, especially the Canadian bond market, went not at the beginning of the day. It's skyrocketing by 10 bips today. But, you know, I think at this point is expected not to be that fast. I think we're gonna see lower rates, but a little bit more towards 2025 versus what we were discussing, that it was gonna be around mid-year. But who knows? Honestly, at this point, nobody has a crystal ball. No, like all I'm saying is that, like if you are on the edge of like doing it because interest rates are gonna drop at some point later this year, I will say, just have a strategy and do it now. And like we're seeing more multiple offers, and why not? And is if the bond market or any market starts to indicate otherwise, that the rates are really going to go down, this is just going to get wilder and wilder and wilder. So definitely, guys, have that in mind, because a good strategy can really get you a really good property, because at the end of the day, we want you not just to buy just a property. We want you to buy a good property, and I think is what the market could give you at this particular point.
Yeah, yeah, I think so too. And we can actually verify that in our next slide, where we're going to be talking about the average sale prices during the same period. And in this graph here, again, we have all the way since January 2022 to January 2024.
Before you start with all the numbers and stuff like that, I would like you
Yeah,
guys, all the our audience, to ask us questions. Like if you guys have any questions regarding anything, real estate or mortgages, we're here for you. That's why we do it live, because we want to make sure that we answer all your questions. So make sure that at any point in time you're asking us questions. All right, just a little invitation here. Sorry,
absolutely.
Elisa, please.
No, 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 absolutely. Yes, sure, sure. The more interactive, the more fun it is. So we can see here, this is again the entire GTA, not only Toronto. We're going to review Toronto and even do Toronto East and Toronto West. So you can see that every part of all this area behaves completely differently, because we have different mixes. in residential real estate. Like in downtown, we have mostly condo buildings. In other areas, we have residential homes, like our detached homes. In other areas, we have mostly townhomes, which are the newer areas, like in the south of Brampton and others. So I just want to mention this January 2024, the average sale price for the entire GTA is 1,026,000, with a days on the market for 37 days on the market. Really long stay. So this is
And I want to make sure that they know, Elisa, from like that 1,027, it came from more than 1.3 in 2022, right?
I have here the numbers. That's right. So in February 2022,
Mm-hmm.
the price, as you can see in the graph, is the highest point we have there, and that was actually unhealthy. That was not what we were looking for, and that's why the Bank of Canada um, gave the very first increase even before the inflation during that period. In February
Yeah.
2022, the average price was 1.3 million, with days on the market only with 9 days on the market. So I know I'm not comparing exactly 1 year to the next, but I'm comparing a wide range of two
Yeah,
full
no,
years.
no. The
However,
reason,
yeah, I want to mention that from that early 2022, and after all the regulations came into place and the inflation, we hit January 2023 with a price of 1,037,000, which is much closer to the 1,026,000 we're having now.
yeah,
And the days on the market also are almost of a month, on days on the market of 29 days. Why I'm repeating days on the market all the time? Because that is giving us an indication for how many days a property stays on the market for the buyer to be able to negotiate. So we are not seeing these fast sales like we saw in 2022 between 5 and 9, 10 days on the market, only because we had many properties we had in the GTA who were going through bidding wars. And basically, this is an auction. This is a real estate auction that is followed, and it has rules. And so the property is on the market. Few days go by for all the potential buyers to do their due diligence and submit an offer. Submit an offer for a specific time and a specific date to the seller through their agency, and they will choose the one that suits them the best. And that's why also when you see a property that it has on very few days in the market, probably that's what it we were thinking, and before that's what it was really. That was happening with the property, and now it's not happening with after 20, 30, 37, 40 days on the market. And what is this telling us? It's telling us that the buyer actually has the lead now. You can send an offer to the seller with the price, and the closing date can be negotiated, uh, provided that both parties receive what they want from the transaction. We in a balanced market. I know there are some micro niches that are still in the buyer's market, a buyer's market, and in that case, the seller actually is giving a little bit more that they wanted to, because they want to really get rid of the property. So we have different mixes, but generally speaking, we're still in a balanced market, and we can. And this year, I believe it's going to be also like that graph. It's going to be go a little bit on zigzag, but we can also touch base in future lives, and I explain you guys how you can actually really quickly can spot it, and you can see actually what is happening in terms of how many homes have sold versus how many homes are in the market in percentages. So you can really, really fast know what to do and what strategy you need to put in place depending on the niche, on the market you are buying or selling a property, which is very important.
yeah, no, 100%.
All right, let's go now to Toronto. I'm going to start, instead of the overall Toronto, I want to do it per niches so you can see people how different areas in Toronto behave. Now we're talking about the east end of Toronto, where the average selling price decreased 1.79% compared to January 2023. And we already saw in the graph that the difference was not that significant, only $10,000 difference between January 2023 and January 2024. We saw that from the graph in the GTA, even though it's extrapolated. Now, here you can see in overall Toronto had 31 days on the market. So we can say from this number and others I'm seeing on this graph that probably we were overall in a balanced market. And as Carla mentioned, she has seen already some places having offer date and a bidding war, and others are not. So we are in this mixed market, which isn't giving us an indication of this balanced market. And this is happening in the East End. What I want to mention here, if you go back to the East End, the price, the average price is less than 1 million. If you go back to the East Market, Carla, you're on the West Market on the slide now.
Okay.
If you go back, yeah. So you see here the average price here is $940,000, which is less than 1 million. And as you know, if you're purchasing a property above 1 million, it's mandatory that you down payment it's at least 20%. If you're buying less than $1 million, it is mandatory that your minimum is 10%. There's a bunch of other factors that Carla need to put together, so you know exactly what would be your minimum down payment. But that's the general rule. So if you're looking at a nice residential area outside of hubs where you think above 1 million is too much for you with a 20% down, look into the East End. There's many interesting niches. Go there one weekend, drive around, sit in a shopping mall and see exactly who could be your neighbors over there. Because right now it is doable. And yes, you have the lead as a buyer. With 31 days on the market, you are.
Yeah,
100%. Yes. And the West End where you were now, yes, it's a little bit above the million. The average is $1,067,000, but still the price went down almost 5%, 4.64% when compared to January 2023. With days on the market of 39 days on the market, the property is sitting there almost 40 days. So it's not a very comfortable position for many sellers, but and that's why also you see more days on the market. So the seller sacrifices a little bit of the price, and then you see the selling price going down. You see the dynamic just goes like that, right? And in the Midtown, where we have more affluent areas and communities, the average selling price, 1.5 million in average, increased less than 3%, only 2.4% in the entire year, with 40 days on the market. So even in these niches, right now, there's a power for negotiating, even though the average selling price were a little bit more, right? We need to see now per community more in detail what's happening. If we go to the next slide, we can see here downtown. Now, yes, I know Carla loves downtown when we talk about it. And I know there's a very good reason she gets excited, because this is a great opportunity for all of those who would like to put their first time foot in the market, either as a first-time investors or a first-time home buyers. Why? Because here in this area, the average selling price right now in 2024 is of $760,000. And take into account that's not the minimum selling price, that's just an average, which means you can find condos in the area, you can find also their freehold homes, townhomes. So it's really a mix, even though predominantly it's condo buildings. So you can even find, if you are first-time investor, you can easily find a condo in a good area in downtown core for less than $500,000 with no parking. So this is doable. Yes, really doable right
now. Than 500,000 in Toronto, guys. Hear that, okay?
Yes, go for it. Absolutely. Let's check the next one.
City of Toronto, less than $1 million.
Where have you heard the previous years, month after month, everything was above $1 million, and this is the very first time when we say the average selling price in the entire city of Toronto is below $1 million at $959,000, which in fact it's a decrease from January 2023 of 2.83%, almost 3% decrease with 38 days on the market. So if you are tired of commuting to the city of Toronto, just come here and start exploring possibilities of purchasing something if you don't want to commute anymore, and take it from there. And I also would like to add, then in the next slide, I added a community called the Beaches in Toronto East. Just as an example, when we go again to, when we dissect uh, uh, sectors and areas, and then we go to per community, every community behaves differently. Like this one, it increased the selling price from last January 2023 to January 2024 to 1,200,000. And this is an increase of 8%. 8% in the average selling price in this area. However, still the days on the market in average is 26. So you have really a mix here of properties that are selling with an offer day and properties that are not, where the buyer can have the lead. So start exploring all these communities around, and by all means, contact me, contact Carla, so you can get more information in every area, because information is gonna make you feel very comfortable in making any decision you need to make. So you are not stressed during the
We
process.
saw, right? Like there is prices like all over downtown Toronto, 700. The Midtown, it goes to double, 1.5. In the beaches, 1.2. Like there's so many niches, so many. So this is so important for you guys to know, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that maybe you were thinking, I don't have $1 million, but maybe the East End is not too bad for you, because it's less than 1 million. And instead of going a little bit farther and commuting and stuff like that, maybe you can do your research more in the East End, and why not? So that's why we guys do all these videos, because we want to make sure that you have fresh information, the latest data, for you guys to make a decision and for you to explore. We want to make sure that you are exploring all your options, and that when you are ready to make a move, you know why you're doing it and how you're doing it. So thank you so much for all this information, Elisa. Like really, you always come and blow our mind away. What you think, like, oh yeah, this is like happening, and then suddenly it's like, oh no, 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 it's
Yeah,
different, it's different. and
it
and
is. And I
and it,
invite you to go to the Durham region that I also chose as an example on the east of Toronto, right? I don't want to talk about the Peel region or the Halton region.
Ajax,
Yes,
no.
so I chose Durham region instead of choosing the Peel region or the Halton region, because this is a nice growing community. And if you really want your home, you want your backyard, this is a great area to start, especially north of Pickering. If you go, it has so many new developments, it's impressive. And the average selling price in the entire Durham region is $894,000. And in the
Wow.
entire year from January 2023 to January 2024, the increase was only of 0.9%, less than 1%, right? And still, as a buyer, if you decide to go in during this month right now to get there, you still have a lead. With the days on the market of 33 days on the market, there's a power of negotiation with the seller. Definitely there is. Yeah.
100%. Wow. No, thank you so much, Elisa. Really, I think looking at these numbers, like you said, if you want a nice backyard, and why not, like, you can make it happen in the Durham region, and it's not $1 million. Like you can still get it for less, and you don't have to put that 20% down. Um, that like it's like $200,000 on a $1 million. But if it's 9999999, then you were talking about $75,000, which is quite a bit of money. It's $125,000 less, and you can jump into having a home. instead of a condo, and why not? So thank you so much, Elisa. I really appreciate all this information, because it's not only numbers, is what the like the rationale behind all these numbers, what makes it so valuable. And thank you. I cannot express my gratitude so much. Thank
And I also know you love numbers, so this is like part of your
I,
cup.
I
Of course.
yeah, 100%. I
Well,
love
guys,
numbers.
get hold of
Thank
Carla, get hold of me. If you jumped into this live too late, don't worry. They are recorded, as we mentioned. Access the recordings. Send us a DM, send us an inbox, depending on what social media platform you are reaching out to us. And we'll be happy to help. As you know, our consultations is free of charge right now. So, generic information, you need that, please get hold of us. As you know, people who are like really seriously buying start really getting informed between 3 months up to 12 months before they make the purchase. So if you think you're not ready, you never know. And if you think you are not ready, again, we can help you to build a plan so you can get ready faster. Or I know right now many people find all kind of information in the internet, including this live. Right?
Yeah,
So
100%. And
so just
we're
and
ready
friends.
for you guys.
Yeah, so if you, Carla, would like to put the Calendly calendar there for anyone who would like to have a first call with you or myself, it would be great. So
Yes,
they can
it's
they know
already
where they
there.
stand. Yeah, of course.
Yes, it's already there. You can also visit our bio in our Instagram. Those who are in Instagram, we're here for you guys. We make this uh, very personalized, because what happened to John is not going to happen to Peter. So definitely, we want to
Yes.
make sure that we analyze your particular situation, and we give you the best advice based on what you have in this particular moment. Okay, so keep that in mind. We're here for you. Thank you so much, Lisa, once again. And we'll see you next week. It's a very interesting topic. It's about proving your home. So
Before you
what
sell.
yeah, before you sell, like, yeah, this is so important, because if you want to really add value into your home, what really makes it valuable, instead of you doing, like, upgrades to the maximum, like, what is really the what you need to focus on to make it better, and more attractive to sellers, sorry, to buyers at that point. So stay tuned and prepare your questions, okay? We want to answer all your questions, so please bring them to the live. We will really appreciate it, and we are more than happy to answer any questions at any particular time. Thank you so much, and have a really good night.
Bye, Carla.